You got,
Just stops. Is there something else that's supposed to say?
Just turn off the two. Yeah.
Ta-da.
It's nowhere in there. We'll have to add it up.
and you'll be good. We have faith. We have faith in you.
Oh man, there's no 6 o'clock.
A replacement.
It is replacement.
We're talking.
Yeah.
We have a delay in the action.
I think it's.
The Columbus City Council meeting for May 6, 2024 will now come to order. In compliance with the Open Meetings Act, a copy of this is posted in this meeting room. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Bulkley,
Here.
Alarcon.
Here.
Barr,
Here.
Freshour, Hemer,
Here.
Jablonski,
Here.
Lopez,
Here.
Roth, Schilling.
Here.
Mayor Bulkley, the roll has been called.
Thank you. Mr. Council President.
Our Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve our fellow citizens. Please give us your wisdom and guidance to make proper decisions entrusted to this governmental body. May our conduct show respect, honor, and courtesy to each other, as well as to all our citizens. Amen.
Oh, yeah, we gotta wait. That's right. No, Jim's gonna sing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. I welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. And our microphones are working. Can you all hear me? Awesome. If at any time during our meeting this evening, anyone in our audience would like to come forward and address the council on any item that's on our agenda, we'd ask you please come forward to the podium, give your name, your address, and we'd ask that you keep any comments you may have to 5 minutes or less. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Appointment of city offices.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't look at my own agenda. Appointment of city offices.
Item 4A, appointment of Sharia Frondorfer as the city clerk to fill the unexpired term of Janelle Klein.
So moved.
No.
Are we just making a motion to do this?
Yeah.
We have a motion, we have a
I have a
second.
second.
We have a motion and a second. I would not imagine any discussion, but would we have any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. We'll take a moment as we do an official changing of the guard here, or changing of the name tag in this case.
Hey, all
Awesome.
right.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
All right.
All right. Now we will move on to the consent agenda.
Item 5, consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a city council member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent status and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item 5A, minutes of the April 15th, 2024 city council meeting. Item 5B, bid from Johnson Trucking Sand and Gravel for 1-year supply of gravel in the amount of $27.75 per cubic yard delivered, or $21.75 per cubic yard if picked up. Item 5C, bid from Andrew Daniels in the amount of $16 per ton for yard waste removal from the transfer station for a 3-year period beginning May 6th, 2024. Item 5D, payroll and bills on file. Mr. Mayor and council members, is there anything you would like removed from consent status?
Mr. Mayor, the items on the consent agenda being routine in nature be approved as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Brings us up to special presentations. This evening, this week happens to coincide with the Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and we have a proclamation for our city clerks. Whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government, and it exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of the government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas the professional municipal clerks serve as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas professional municipal clerks continue to strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, province, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, I, James B. Bulkley, Mayor of the City of Columbus, Nebraska, do hereby recognize the week of May 5 through May 11, 2024, as Professional Municipal Clerks Week. And we have some of the best within our organization. We thank you for what you do and how you do it. I would then like to go on and give one other bit of acknowledgement and recognition to somebody that we are saying goodbye to, and that is a proclamation to our exiting city clerk. Janelle, if you'd give me a minute here, I would like to give you this proclamation. Please stand. I know. Whereas Janelle Klein has dedicated almost 24 years of exemplary service to the city of Columbus, Nebraska, serving as city clerk since 2012, and whereas Janelle has maintained the highest standard of professionalism and integrity in the performance of her duties, often going above and beyond to ensure the smooth operation of our city's governance, and whereas Janelle's commitment to public service has been unwavering, providing guidance and support to both the City Council and the citizens of Columbus. And whereas Janelle has played a critical role in the safeguarding of public records and the enhancement of transparency within our local government, and whereas Janelle has earned the respect and admiration of her colleagues, peers, and the community at large for her dedication and service. Now, therefore, I, James B. Bulkley, Mayor of the City of Columbus, Nebraska, do hereby express our deepest gratitude to Janelle Klein for her many years of service and wish her joyful and fulfillment retirement. Janelle, thank you very much for all you've done. Yeah.
She made it through it. I didn't think she would.
background of that picture. Yeah.
You know, you often hear us talk about how fortunate we are for the employees that we have within our city. So it's hard to see one leave like that. So we wish her the best. All right, we move on to public, new business.
Item 14A, appointment of Ann Kinnison to the Library Board to fill the unexpired term of Jaylene Ramirez.
Council members, with your permission, the mayor wishes to submit the following name for appointment to the library board at the May 6, 2024 city council meeting per council rules. This candidate will be filling an unexpired term of Janelle Ramirez until September 24. Ann Kinnison joined the city of Columbus as a finance director in 1994, retiring in 2018. Her certifications included certified public accountant, certified government financial manager. She has served in leadership positions in a variety of state and local organizations. Ann currently is the chairman of the Columbus Housing Authority Board. She serves on the Children and Family Partnership of the Columbus Area United Way and the East Central Long-Term Recovery Group. She's a member of the Columbus Noon Rotary and Columbus Women's Club. Ann and her husband Logan have 3 adult children, 11 grandchildren, and are members of St. Isidore's Church. Councilman, I would entertain a motion for this
So
appointment.
move. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 14B, appointment of Nicole Ripke to the Library Board to fill the unexpired term of Robert Hausman.
Council members, again, with your permission, the mayor wishes to submit the following name to you for appointment to the library board at the May 6, 2024 city council meeting per city council rules. This candidate will be filling an unexpired term of Robert Hausman until September 2026. Nicole Ripke moved to the area in 2019 to work as a program director at Camp Luther in 2022. She began working as a youth director at the Columbus Family YMCA, and her family moved into Columbus. As a youth director, she develops and facilitates programs for kids and families, including preschool programs, camps, after-school programming, and family events. She and her husband, Joel, have 2 young children. Her family feels blessed to be part of the Columbus community. Her job at the YMCA has given her opportunity to get to know many kids, families, and community organizations. She's a mentor with teammates and is a member and volunteer at Peace Lutheran Church and coordinator of the Junior Runaround on the Downtown Runaround Committee. The Columbus Library is one of her family's favorite places in Columbus, and she is honored to have the opportunity to serve on the board. Council members, I'd entertain a motion for this appointment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 14C, proposal from Commonwealth Electric Company in the amount of $55,601 for the Wi-Fi power and data at Bernie Square, Bradshaw, Frankfurt Square, Girard, Pawnee, and Wilderness Parks. Also the 18th Avenue Pedestrian Bridge and the Aquatic Center. This is CIP number 19-09.
Mr. Mayor, I move the proposal from Commonwealth Electric Company for Wi-Fi power and data be accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept. Any discussion?
Question, why 18th Street?
The 18th Ped Bridge, so we can get cameras up there
Cameras.
to prevent further vandalism.
I assume. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 14D, quote from Electronic Engineering in the total amount of $58,687 to equip 3 new police vehicles. This is CIP numbers 21-05, 21-06, and 21-07.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the quote from Electronic Engineering to equip 3 new police vehicles be accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the quote from Electronic Engineering for the 3 police vehicles. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 14E, comments from the mayor and city council members in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. No discussion may be held on this item. There's lots of
A
rain.
lot of rain going on right now. We could have that discussion if anybody was interested. Any comments from council members? Yes, Councilman.
I made the mistake last Thursday of watching the noon news, and all the news you get is just horrible. Makes you realize what a cruddy place the world can be sometimes. So I go back to work. I'd rather work than be depressed. Went by the Hanover Square, and here are 3 police vehicles parked in the square. What in the world do we need to park with 3 cops? We had 3 uniformed officers out playing with the 5th grade students from St. Bon's. So it was nice to see, it was enheartening. So, Chief, if you'd tell those officers thank you, I'd appreciate it.
Very good. The only comment I would have is for the public that may not have been aware or couldn't make it. We had a wonderful open house and ribbon cutting at our Charlie Lewis Fire Station on 8th Street on Friday, and it became fully staffed Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. So we now have both stations fully staffed 24/7, 365. And if you're interested, I encourage you to stop by the station. I know the firefighters are happy with what's there and would be glad to show it off to you. So great, it's a great day for Columbus moving forward. All right, any others, comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to resolutions.
Item 15A, resolution number R24-51, awarding the bid to Screed Tech LLC in the amount of $1,654,884.15 for the 8-place T hangar project at the airport. This is CIP number 23-30.
Mr. Mayor, move for the adoption of resolution number R24-51.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution R24-51. Do we have any discussion?
I would just, for the public's
Yes.
sake, I know you all saw it and are aware of this, but this is a large capital improvement project, but we do expect to receive a full 90% of this cost from the Federal Aviation Authority through the Nebraska Department of Transportation, so 90% funding from outside sources.
And if I'm not mistaken, are these hangar spots already spoken for?
Yeah, we already have a waiting list.
So there's already a rating list for even our new hangar spots here.
The question I have, anything about Screed? I mean, I don't know, I never heard of them, so.
Rick can speak to this, but I know that they've done similar projects. Not for us, but in the state.
Right, so they haven't done any projects for us, but they have like in the, they're out of Beatrice, so the Beatrice area. And I talked to Kirk Michael, who's the engineer for this project, and they've had him on a few projects, been very happy with him, recommended him, so
Okay,
we're looking
good.
forward to working with
I
him.
never heard of them on Fairbury, and so I'm just
Yep.
curious.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those
I gotta
opposed,
find my card.
nay. Motion passes.
Item 15B, resolution number R24-52, approving the assessment contract with C-Bus Hotels LLC for a qualifying energy project in accordance with the Nebraska Property Assessed Clean Energy Act. Need a motion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was there.
Well, you got distracted. The speaker got up
Yeah,
before we
didn't
invited him
have
up.
to ask, yeah. Mr. Mayor, I'd move resolution number R24-52 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. I'd ask for questions, but we're going to have somebody explain some things first, and then we can have questions.
No, my apologies.
Oh, no.
Eric Hall, with Bank of the Valley and with C-Bus Hotels. Strictly walking up here just to answer any questions if you guys have any. If you don't, no big deal, but I'm here on their behalf, so.
Absolutely. Any questions for Eric while he's up at the podium?
Can you give us all a nutshell version of just exactly what this does?
Basically, it is a funding source for the construction of the property, but it comes as a different loan outside of the primary lender on it. And the entire purpose is for high efficiency HVAC equipment, low U-factor windows, LED lighting. It's all in accordance with trying to save money on energy efficiencies throughout the life of the product or the property, so.
And this runs through the state? Is the state program?
Correct. So this would be my third project with working with a customer that has done this. The first one, I believe, was the Hampton here in town. And then I've also worked with the Marriott property up in Norfolk that also used it in that project, so.
Awesome. Any questions for Mr. Hall? All right, no, thank you, Eric. Appreciate
Thank
it. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 15C, resolution number R24-53, approving the lease agreement with Jim and Dan Donahue to rent farm ground known as the Wellfield property in the annual amount of $36,027 commencing May 6, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, move for the adoption of resolution number R24-53.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R24-53. And we got some eager participants in our audience today. Do we have a motion for, okay, please.
My apologies, council members. I'm not sure when I'm supposed to come up, so I just didn't want to miss my opportunity. My name is Jeremy Schreiber. I live at 5773 East 29th Avenue, which is just a couple miles northeast of town. And the resolution before you is about the city Wellfield property, which I have been the previous tenant for the past 5 years. So unfortunately, this year I have the second bid, which you may have in your packet in front of you. And I missed the high bid by a mere $94 this year. So, I thought that that's just too minute of a difference to not give up, stand before you and give you my thoughts. The last time I was in front of the council was back in 2007 when I was a member of the junior city council. So I thought it was about time for me to pop my face in here again. So, the farm means a lot to me. I take great care in it. I consider myself a great steward of it and going above and beyond in many ways on that farm. As I'd said, I've been involved with that farm myself for 5 years now, and my dad and my uncle had actually been prior tenants on that farm for 4 years before me. So collectively, I've been involved on that farm for almost a decade. Your farm manager, Mr. Dean Hankey, I have a great relationship with him. In fact, I completely got him off guard one day about 2 years ago when I delivered the cash rent check to him much early in advance in his office. He wasn't even sure why I was there. So your city employee who's charged with taking care of that property as a whole, Jake Waka, I have a great relationship with him as well, and I speak with him on the phone and in person numerous times throughout the year out there helping them with numerous things, as well as he and I team up on different aspects with the cropland. The most previous issue we're tackling is some erosion that we're getting on the south edge of the property, and I give him my input on that, and I think we have a pretty decent resolution yet to try out here when the time is right. So I don't want to take any more of your time, but I would just ask that you consider other aspects other than the highest bid, and that $94 isn't everything, and care of the property is much more to your greatest farmland asset out there. It brings a lot of value to you guys, and it means a lot to me, so thank you.
Thank you. And Jeremy, I appreciate you coming forward and giving your thoughts and your feelings, and it does mean a lot, but, from my standpoint, I won't speak totally for the council, but from my standpoint, I understand $94 isn't a lot, but at some point, where do you draw the line? What is a lot? We are stewards of tax dollars, and we are, following state laws set out by low comparable bids. So again, I say I understand, but at some point, we have to be careful not to try to mix too much of the other things into our decisions. And I know that's not always easy, and it's not always easy to understand, but it is, in some respects, our hands are tied when it comes to those kinds of things. And when you're sitting up here, sometimes that's good, because you have to do it a certain way. So again, I hear you, and I certainly appreciate you coming forward to share that, but, we have made a decision unless the council decides against what is in front of them. All right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
There are no preference points given for present tenant, been there for 9 years?
No, there isn't. It's based on high bid in this case.
Yeah.
That most the city can get, and that's been the standing practice. So that's why Chuck made the recommendation that he did, that we take the high bid. Similarly to when we're doing, like the mayor said, when we're doing construction bids, we are obligated to take the low bid, even if we have a superior relationship with somebody who may be slightly higher. We
Right.
still are obligated to take that low bid. So in this case, like the mayor said, we are
Unfortunately,
following our
yeah.
policy.
Yeah. So,
But we sure appreciate, Jeremy, all your efforts over the last few years, and we'll bid it again in a few years. So
Well, and it
please bid again.
It's a 1 year, it's a 1 year contract.
Right.
So,
Right.
May 20, yeah, you're right, May 24th through the following year. I'm sorry, you're right, 2-year contract. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes. Okay, that brings us up to ordinances on their first reading.
Item 16A, ordinance number 24-11, authorizing issuance of sales tax revenue bonds in an amount not to exceed $5,150,000 for the community building.
Somebody has,
Mr. Schilling.
Mr. Mayor, move the rules be suspended and ordinance number 24-11 be read by number only.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to read ordinance number 24-11 by number only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Ordinance number 24-11.
Mr. Mayor, move that ordinance number 24-11 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 24-11. Any discussion? And
Cody Wickham with DA Davidson is here. Before Cody gets too far into the weeds about the financing, I just want to give one really quick overview, and that is that this portion of the financing for the community building is for the library portion. We originally issued temporary financing for $10 million of the library financing, and have since received, over the last 5 years, we have been cash flowing a number of capital projects with plans to be reimbursed for those, one of them being all of the flood damage. So we have been funding that with sales tax, but now we have finally, almost 5 years to the day, received all of the funds from FEMA and closed out that project. And similar with the highway project, we have been reimbursed for a large portion of that. So we have cash on hand. That's why the current temporary debt is around $10 million, but we're only issuing about half of that in our permanent financing, because we're using that cash, that surplus of cash on hand to issue less debt for the future. Just wanted to lay that out in
Thank you.
simple form.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Cody.
Yeah, thank you, Tara. That's a great summary. Cody Wickham with DA Davidson, 450 Regency Parkway in Omaha. It's ironic that it's my first time presenting to you all in this new beautiful building, and we're talking about finishing off paying for a portion of it. As Tara framed up very nicely, we're going to downsize the bond anticipation notes that were originally done in 2020. We're going to pay that down with $5 million cash on hand from the city. We analyzed a number of different models, basically trying to figure out what would be the most efficient and least cost to the taxpayers in the community in terms of total interest expense. By kicking in the $5 million cash that's due on closing, we're able to shorten the final maturity on the bonds that we're looking to issue. One of the covenants that's in place from the 2018 bonds that were issued also under the same security, the sales tax revenue by the 0.5% that was voter approved, is that you have to maintain a 1.5 times coverage ratio between those bonds and any additional bonds that are issued on parity, which these would be. So in order to meet that bond covenant and not have your total debt service be too high, these basically are going to fall right on top of the fire and police bonds. Those final maturity is 2038. These final maturity on these will be 2039, and you'll have opportunities to refinance or prepay along the way. So I would expect that these will actually be paid off prior to 2039. A couple other statistics here for the bond market and how we see this transaction going. Right now, we're looking at a projected true interest cost of right around 4%. It was 3.98 at our last run. The average life on these bonds is 9.4 years. The average debt service for this roughly $5 million is $430,000 a year. When you couple that with the 2018 fire and police, that puts an average aggregate debt service of $1,560,000. So with that 0.5% sales tax that was voter approved, that's the only source of security that's going to back up these bonds. There's no property tax associated with these. It's strictly that 0.5% sales tax that the voters approved. That maintains that 1.5 times debt service coverage ratio. So we think these will be a marketable instrument. There's a debt service reserve fund in place that's tied to the 2018 bonds. We're still looking to see if that's going to be necessary on this one. The plan between now and June 15th is we'll have a ratings call with Heather and Tara with S&P. On the original bonds, you had a strong investment grade rating of A, so we would anticipate to get the same on these. There's a little bit of urgency tied to this because the notes mature on June 15th of this year. So you have $10 million due on that day. You're going to kick in $5 million cash. We'd like to have the steps in place to get this financing so we have the other $5 million ready to pay off those notes. So we could have come to you sooner with this, but the notes that were originally issued were at 0.85%, so it made sense to just ride that extremely low interest rate.
Ride it out as long as you can.
Ride that horse as long as you can.
Exactly.
Any questions for Cody?
Great.
Awesome. Thank you
Cody.
very much. Great explanation. Any questions, council? Any other comments or concerns? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Brings us up to ordinances on their second reading.
Item 17A, ordinance number 24-10, approving the text amendments of the Columbus Land Development Ordinance. This is a second reading. No motion is necessary.
Is there any public comment is welcome if anyone here wants to address this? We will have the third reading at our next council meeting. None? All right. And then before I slam the gavel to say dismissed, and you can go like that if you want, I would like to take a moment and welcome officially our new city clerk, Sharia.
Yes.
And we appreciate having you and look forward to your tenure with us as we move forward. Thank you very much. All right, meeting adjourned.
Pass that along, please. Thank you, sir. I got the big one.